It's lovely to see a little bit of rainfall after the scorching temperatures of this week. Tuesday reached 35 degrees in Wales, which is totally unheard of really, and the greenhouse got up to 56 degrees. What a scorcher. Now I actually missed most of the heat wave. We only had it here in South Wales for one day and I was in work. But when I did get back to the car at about 7 o'clock in the night, it was still 33 degrees. So it was aircon straight on for the journey home. Well anyway, I'm so glad now to be getting a little bit of rain in the garden. As Tuesday night I had to rush home. Look at the size on these now. I was looking back the other day just how small these were this time last year, and I thought they were quite big then, but this year the trunks now have got to be 4 to 5 foot tall. And it's lovely to see the garden growing this year. Well anyway, so it was so nice to have a little bit of rain as I had to rush home and water everything on Tuesday night, and the ground was like a board. But everything now has had a good water and it's looking a lot better out here. You can see the plants are really glad of a bit of rainfall. And there's Vim still following me around the garden. Hello Vim. All right boy. And a question that I get asked quite often is, how do I manage to keep the garden looking so tidy? Well, the answer is quite a lot of brushing up, because you can see here when I come out of my back door, this is usually what I'm faced with. So there's always lots and lots to brush up. And I've already done my pathways today, as it's my day off. It doesn't take me long. It's just a quick little 10-minute job, and I do that probably about twice a week just to keep on top of it. But as far as weeding goes, we don't really get an awful lot of weeds here. So that's quite a minimal job. For everything now, I'm really glad with the progress. And everything's grown really large this year. Beautiful. Another job that I've got to do today, that I do probably on a weekly basis, is just to skim over the top of the wildlife pond and remove a lot of this duckweed, as it does tend to get a little bit overgrown and will take over the pond. And all I do is just use something just to scrape away at the top. So I'll get that done now. And I don't think there's an awful lot going on now in the wildlife pond. There's a little bit of movement, but I can't see any tadpoles or frogs. Oh, there's one there. I can just see him underneath the lily pad. Yes, there's still a few little things going on. And that is the amount of duckweed that I get out of the wildlife pond once a week. So I'll just pop that in the bin. Vim is back speaking to me again. He wasn't speaking to me this time last week, as I had to take him for his yearly checkup and his booster. And he really does hate going in the box. to the vet's and he makes a noise like a lion. He absolutely hates it, and as soon as he comes home, he's back to normal again. Now at least once a week, I try and come out and just do a little bit of deadheading. I haven't got a lot of annual flowers this year, but I have got some roses, which haven't done as well as last year. And most of these are Floribunda roses. But it's nice to have a little bit of colour in the garden. But I am missing that colour this year that I usually have. We've still got a few more buds on the roses. And with a bit of luck, we'll have a few more blooms before the end of the season. Now that would be really nice. This one here will be, I think it's a Meteor Rose. And this was the RHS award-winning rose for 2024. And when this comes out in flower, I'll show you the lovely colours on it. I've cut back my Salvia hot lips, and just over there, the other side of the border, I have got another Salvia, a purple and bloom, and also that one hasn't done as well as it did last year, and I don't know why, because we've had a much hotter summer this year than what we had last year. But there are some new leaves just coming out on the Salvia hot lips, so who knows, we might be lucky enough to have another flush of flowers just before the autumn arrives. I also have been growing quite a few dahlias this year, and this is a new one. I haven't grown this one before, and this is a Seattle. Beautiful colours on it, and this is a dinner plate variety. But every few days, or at least once a week, I come out and just trim off any of the old blooms. You can see that that one there now is just coming to the end, and it just keeps them blooming all the way through the season just by trimming off the faded flowers. This is also another variety that I've been growing, and this is a David Howard, and I've grown this one now for about 3 years, and I love the really bright colours on it. Such a beautiful dahlia. I've also got a large dahlia just outside the greenhouse, but I don't know why, but this one just hasn't bloomed at all. It's in really good sun here and is well watered, and I think maybe there is something coming on it, but it's very slow. It's mid-August now, and hardly anything at all. A very poor show of this dahlia. I don't even know which variety it is because I forgot to label it. The new Trachycarpus that we planted a few weeks ago is doing extremely well. There's plenty of new fronds coming out on it, and it's still lovely and green. And this was the one that was £150 from B&M. It looks in really good condition, and I have fed it with some chicken manure pellets. And I read up on an amazing fact this week on the Fatsia japonica. Now, as you can see, these leaves are really flat. But I was wondering why when I go up the plant, these leaves are all pointed upwards. And believe it or not, it turned out to be a defense mechanism against any really strong sunlight, and the leaves will close up to try and minimize the surface area to the light. Now, how good is that? And I think it is really true, because just look at the difference on these leaves there. plants are so wonderful and full of surprises. And when I trimmed back all the lower leaves a few weeks ago on all my Fatsias, I was surprised to see that I've already got some new growth just coming halfway up the trees. So I got to decide now whether to leave these grow or snap them off. But I think for the moment, I'll just leave them in place. Now we have had quite a bit of dry weather lately. My water butts have been extremely dry, but I have been rushing out a few times in the week just to water the tree fern to keep it damp. And this is looking absolutely spectacular this year, and it's really settled into the garden well. It was only planted last year as a potted plant, and this is on a 2-foot stem. And we've had an abundance of new fronds this year. And I'm so pleased that all that winter protection really did do its job. And just look at it in the garden. It really is quite a size. It's probably 5 foot across and only coming from a 2-foot stem. Lovely. And a quick update on the banana, the little pup that we've got coming on the oldest banana that we've got in the garden. And if I zoom in on that, just look at the size on that coming there now. And hopefully that's big enough to make it through the winter if it continues to put on that amount of size. And last weekend I cleaned down the outside of the greenhouse, and for this I used a really soft brush, one that's used really for car washing, and it's on a long pole, and some hot soapy water with some washing up liquid in it, and that seems to have done the job. It's looking a lot cleaner, but it's very hard to keep it looking clean when there's so many birds around, and it's underneath those large trees as well up there. And the sun now is coming out wonderfully in the garden. And I was thinking, maybe for my next video, I'll take you out to the garden and we'll go and visit a nice garden centre somewhere. I'm trying to think of somewhere that we haven't been before. Tony does enjoy a nice day out to the garden centre, and we'll see what they've got in stock for this time of year. So until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.